A president of Harvard named Eliot, who was president for 40 years, from 1869 to 1909, recognized that the future of medicine required being based in science. He took the school from Boylston Street, where it was next to where the Boston Public Library is, to these buildings, realizing that we needed to have laboratory space, both for students to work at the bench and for faculty to be committed to science. He came here from Cambridge. He used to walk across the river. He came here to a faculty meeting and he announced these expectations. 1, literacy. Before Eliot, you didn't have to know how to read or write to attend Harvard Medical School. There was a precipitous drop in applications occasioned by just that one requirement, since there were very few people who were graduates of a reading and writing training and who could therefore apply. 2, he insisted that there be a curriculum with changes as you reach the second year. Prior to Eliot, when you attended the school, you heard the same lectures the second year that you had heard the first year, from the same doctors from whom you bought the lectures. Eliot said that's not right. There must be a progressive curriculum. 3rd, he required written examinations. That had never been done before at Harvard Medical School. When it was time to graduate, you appeared before a committee. They each had squares in their laps with white or black balls. And after you were presented to the group, they held up the square in front of them, white or black ball, and you either graduated or you didn't. A surgeon in the audience stood up and said, in a legendary interchange, "But sir," to Eliot, "can you explain to us why you require all this of us? Why are these changes being made when we're getting along perfectly well?" And Eliot drew himself up and looked him in the eye and said, "Because, sir, you have a new president." And on that occasion, the future of Harvard Medical School was determined. No longer to be preceptor-based, no longer to be for anyone who couldn't read or write, no longer to be a verbal rather than a written curriculum, no longer to be without written examinations, all determined by Eliot. That is when the modern history of Harvard Medical School began. He was also the one who realized that medicine should be based on science. And I want to read the dedication of these buildings because it is almost poetic in its prediction of what these schools are going to be like. So this is September 25th, 1906, on the steps of the building, looking out that way from where we're seated. "I devote these buildings and their successors in coming time to the teaching of the medical and surgical arts which combat disease and death, alleviate injuries, and defend and assure private and public health, and to the pursuit of the biological and medical sciences, on which depends all progress in the medical arts and preventive medicine. I solemnly dedicate them, the buildings, to the service of individual man and of human society, and invoke upon them the favor of man and the blessing of God.